Hi, I'm Trevor and this is my new channel, Finding Is Fun. I was trying to find the words for it there. It's almost the end of the Brocante season here in France. It was a wet and windy day yesterday, Sunday, and I made the decision to go to small local Brocante instead of a larger Brocante that was in a covered car park. That was probably the only sort of mistake I made for the day, but at the end of the day I'm very happy with what I found at this small local Brocante. 6:30 in the morning. So let's just set the scene. It's 6:30 in the morning. I set off in the car. The strong winds have brought unexpected rain, and I know before I even get to the Brocante that there aren't going to be 100% of the sellers there. I also know that there aren't going to be many buyers, so it's a fairly quiet affair, and it's just a question of getting round and around and going around several times to find whatever objects there can. And as you can see from the intro, I found this. It was from a box of magazines, and I understood immediately that it was going to be a box containing news articles about special or major events from the past 40-50 years. Okay, so basically for the last 64 years perhaps, articles, men in space, assassination attempts, things like that. So let's get a look at what it was like at the Brocante. It was windy. You can see from the trees when I start the video that it was a bit of a brisk, windy, chilly affair. You can see the people dressed up for winter, and the poor sellers, well, they were dressed up all day long like that, because I went early in the morning on my own to go around, and then I took the wife about midday, and there were people there who were basically frozen to death. Okay, so let's take a look. Look at the trees. You can see the wind blowing. This is in the countryside. It's on a flat plain that is exposed to the wind. So as you go down the avenue where the stalls are supposed to be, about half the places are empty. You can see white painted lines and numbers. Those were for people to set up their stalls, and basically a lot of people decided they didn't want to go. It's never any fun trying to sell when it's raining. If you put a sheet over to protect what you're trying to sell, then nobody can see it, and then you're not going to sell anything. And if you take the covers off, well, everything you're trying to sell is going to be wet. So selling books and magazines is and clothing is a bit of a hit and miss affair. But as you can see here, it's accelerated. The camera, just a bit of an explanation, was a new camera that I bought. Basically it was useless. There was no suppression of noise, so as it was a windy day, it was too windy. I could hear the wind on the microphone. Secondly, there was absolutely zero zero image stabilization. And then basically on the drive back in the car, I realized that it was also picking up interference from the engine. So, well, that was an experiment that failed. But normally this would be full of people here and here. Well, would be stalls, people setting out, lots of people just selling their old toys and clothing, a few bikes, lots of bikes. We got to the end of the street. That's it. Time to head back. Not the world's greatest event, but I did find a few things. I got this cool money box. It's basically a piggy bank in the form of a camera, and it doesn't have an opening at the bottom, so you need to use a butter knife to get the money out, as I used to do that when I was a kid. The French call this a tirelet à casser. You have to break it to get the money out, which is a pretty stupid idea if you ask me, but that's the way it is. That was the first item I found on the Brocante at 7 o'clock in the morning in the dark and rain. second item, or rather the last item, was this. And this was basically an Art Deco table lamp that I walked past about at least half a dozen times. I actually bought it at midday when I was walking around with the wife. I actually spotted it and bought it. It's authentic, and we have the old plug. It's quite funny these, because I think you are meant to be able to mount the plugs one on one like that, which is a great way of starting a fire, I guess. 1950s, 1940s, I guess, the plug, because the spacing looks to be sort of okay. This is a modern plug. Yeah, the spacing is okay. Earlier plugs, they had pins that were closer, but as you can see, well, as you can't really see perhaps, but there we go, that's it. Let's get back to this before I get onto the video. Le Parisien Libéré came out in August 1944, 22nd of August 1944, 3 days before Paris was liberated in the war, and they were ready to get up and go and print the stories about Paris running for its freedom. And so the title was Le Parisien Libéré, and it was entitled Parisien Libéré until 1968, when the word Libéré was removed and it's just known today as Le Parisien. 1968 was another event, and that was the riots of May 1968, and that's covered in one of the magazines that's in that box. So let's see, let's take a look. Okay, so it's filmed by the looks of it. Middle of nowhere, it's cold, windy as hell, and I bought a bike. This is the nth bike I bought. I swore I wouldn't buy anymore, but it's a very nice looking Peugeot, and got one or two things about it that I want off the bike as well. So long trousers, this, you have to see this to believe it. Oh, God. Not much light, but there you go. This is a camera money bank. Do 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 do. I can't believe I just paid €3 for it. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Des journaux, s'il vous plaît, il y a des prix.
Vous voulez la caisse?
Vous dire combien la caisse?
C'est 10 €. Regardez tout ce
Oh purée. Oui, non, ok, oui, non, ok, je vais.
Tous les paris matchs?
Oui, ça marche, ok, je vais prendre.
C'est bon?
Oui.
Ouais, très bien.
Ça dedans, et puis je repasserai pour.
Ouais.
Ok.
Je vous donne tout la...
Ah oui, je vais chercher un caddie. J'ai un caddie dans la voiture. Oui, ça marche. Oh, j'ai oublié de payer.
Je vous le mets de côté, hein. Prenez votre temps.
Ça marche, merci beaucoup. Ok, je vais continuer à faire mon tour.
Cherchez d'autres livres, non?
Non, en fait, juste je suis tombé sur, comme je suis anglophone, anglais,
Ah, très bien.
j'ai vu des titres.
Very
Donc,
nice.
yeah. Vous êtes d'ici?
Oui.
Pas près?
Pas loin.
Pas loin.
Pas loin. On n'est pas loin. Merci, monsieur.
Ok, je vous en prie.
Merci.
Allez, à tout à l'heure.
À tout à l'heure.
Monsieur, s'il vous plaît, attention, je vais vous mettre ça dans la main, sinon quelqu'un va marcher dessus. Voilà.
Merci.
Je vous en prie.
Ah oui,
Oh, chouette. Bonjour.
bonjour. Oui, c'est pas jaune ça.
Non, c'est chouette, mais on n'a pas des livres comme ça. Ouais. Voilà, là. Je voulais combien pour ça, s'il vous plaît?
Je vois, c'est à toi. 3 €.
Pardon? Non,
3
3 euros ouais, ok, pas de souci. Ouais.
Après,
Ah, c'est marrant, le moto. C'est vous qui l'avez fait?
Comment?
C'est vous qui l'avez
C'est mon
fabriqué?
grand-père qui l'a fait.
Ah oui?
Il y a 40 heures de travail dessus.
Avec une machine à coudre.
Ah. Waouh.
Ah, c'est pas mal fait. Hein. C'est bien trouvé surtout.
Il y a combien? s'il
L'idée
vous
est
plaît?
bonne.
300.
300.
Ah bah il y a
Une
du
pièce
boulot.
unique, hein.
Ah, c'est original, ouais, c'est
C'est
sûr.
unique.
Ouais, ouais.
Ça va aller dans un magasin de moto ou...
Oui, oui. Un passionné, un grand passionné.
passionné,
Oui, oui. Ah, ouais, c'est beau, hein. Il y a une petite
oui.
poignée de guidon en plus. Ouais.
Bah, fallait, à l'époque,
Je vais prendre un miel. Je ne vais pas vous laisser tout seul. Alors.
c'est gentil.
Pardon.
Donc là, c'est miel de printemps, donc c'est miel très très doux,
D'accord.
qui est cristallisé et fondant en bouche.
Mhm.
Voilà, donc ça c'est la première récolte. Là c'est la deuxième, donc un mois plus tard, donc il est un tout petit peu plus fort.
D'accord, ouais.
Là j'ai récolté juste après la floraison de l'acacia.
D'accord, ah oui.
C'est un miel liquide,
Mhm.
très très floral.
Ok.
Et là c'est la dernière récolte, c'est un miel d'été qui est
Mhm.
plus fort,
D'accord.
cristallisé.
Ah oui. Donc ça dépend de la saison.
Oui, voilà. Ouais.
Ah, ça je ne savais pas.
Ouais.
Ok, allez. Je trouve mes sous. Alors d'habitude je prends un qui est bien courant, mais je pense que je vais opter pour ça.
Pour celui-là.
Ouais, s'il vous plaît, ouais.
Qu'est-ce que tu vois pas?
Ça c'est vide. Vous avez demandé sur à 20?
Oui, oui, oui. Vous voulez un sac
Non, c'est pas la peine, j'ai un sac à dos. De toute façon, je rentre. Ok,
Tenez.
merci.
C'est moi qui vous remercie.
Puis bon courage. Hein.
Oui, merci.
Ah, cul. Ah. Well, there we go. Welcome to looking at what I found this morning on the Brocante. Box full of magazines. Can imagine that most of them don't really have much interest, but this top one is a bit of a... I'll put that there. Next, what do we have? Apollo 12 and Mr. Bean on the moon. Oh, Mr. Bean. 1969, it was November 1969, and this was January 1969 photo of the Earthrise, and probably lots of other photos too. Let's take a quick. Okay, here we have the moon. Of course, it was all shot in the hangar, wasn't it? In the Nevada desert, we all know that. Well, and somebody was obviously a fan of the moon space travel. January 1966, the exclusive photos of the spatial rendezvous. The satellite Gemini 7 taken a photo from Gemini 6. This is the moment the premiere meetup in space and opened the route towards the moon. That is a historic moment, that photo, yes. If you're not English, you won't understand. Oh, look at that. Good grief, when you think of what we're doing nowadays. The film of 1968, Apollo 8. Equipe newspaper from 1987, and Ben Johnson's 983 beating Carl Lewis. Well, yes, I don't know about that. So these sporting moments. What else? What else? What else? Oh gosh! This is the revolution of the street riots of May 68, and this is June, just after. Yes, the days from May. Oh wow, that is a historical document. I don't know what's in it. I can't. Maybe in the middle. What was that? Oh gosh. You know what that is? Oui, oui, j'ai oublié. Ouais. What's this one then? This is French. That's French history, which will go to the Pope. That kind of thing. English history. Oh my God. Figaro, what's this? Oh. Ah. George Bush went to the Pentagon yesterday after